When it comes to the intersection of fame, fashion, and female power, few names carry the global weight of Kim Kardashian and Elizabeth Taylor. Now, in an unexpected yet strangely fitting move, Kardashian is stepping behind the camera to produce a brand new documentary about the late screen goddess. Titled Elizabeth Taylor, Rebel Superstar, the three-part series promises to reveal the untold layers of one of Hollywood's most enigmatic women, told, fittingly, by another woman who knows all too well what it means to live under the world's gaze. A new lens on a timeless star. Elizabeth Taylor, Rebel Superstar is set to debut this October, offering a bold, intimate exploration of Taylor's dazzling yet turbulent life. The docuseries, produced in collaboration with Passion Pictures, aims to go beyond the sparkle of diamonds and red carpets. It will delve deep into the woman behind the myth, her courage, her pioneering activism, her romantic complexities, and her battle to control her own narrative in a male-dominated industry. Each of the 3 episodes will focus on a defining chapter of Taylor's evolution. The first explores her meteoric rise from child actress to cinematic icon. The second examines the intense scrutiny she endured, her publicized relationships, heartbreaks, and her defiance of Hollywood's rigid moral codes. The final installment highlights Taylor's later years, when she transformed from movie star to mogul and humanitarian, championing the fight against AIDS long before it was fashionable or safe to do so. But perhaps the most striking aspect of this new project is who's telling the story: Kim Kardashian, one of the most recognized women on the planet today. The Kim connection. At first glance, Kardashian and Taylor might seem worlds apart. One a classic film goddess of the silver screen, the other a 21st century reality star turned business mogul. Yet beneath the surface, their parallels run deep. Both mastered the art of self-reinvention. Both navigated immense fame with defiant confidence. And both used their platforms to redefine what power looks like for women in entertainment. Kim Kardashian's connection to Taylor isn't new. In 2011, she conducted what would become Elizabeth Taylor's final interview before her passing. In that conversation, Kardashian called Taylor her idol, admiring her strength, independence, and unapologetic love of glamour. Since then, Kardashian has often cited Taylor as a personal inspiration, not just for her beauty, but for her business sense and humanitarian spirit. So when the opportunity arose to help shape a documentary about Taylor's legacy, Kardashian didn't hesitate. As an executive producer, she brings not only her brand influence but also a personal reverence for the woman she once described as the blueprint for modern celebrity. Rewriting the narrative. What makes Rebel Superstar stand out is its mission to peel away the myths and expose the reality behind Elizabeth Taylor's fame. Too often, Taylor's story has been reduced to her romances, scandals, and diamonds. But this documentary promises to reframe her as a trailblazer, a woman who took charge of her own destiny in an industry that preferred its female stars submissive and silent. Taylor was one of the first actors to demand $1 million salary, a move that forever changed the economics of Hollywood. She leveraged her fame to create her own fragrance empire, making her one of the first celebrities to turn a personal brand into a global business. Decades before influencer culture or skims, Elizabeth Taylor understood the power of identity and image. But she was also unafraid of vulnerability. Taylor faced public scrutiny over her weight, marriages, and health. She struggled with addiction and grief. Yet through every tabloid headline, she endured, and ultimately reclaimed her story through compassion and courage. The documentary's use of rare audio recordings, archival footage, and intimate family interviews promises to highlight these contradictions: the diva who was also deeply kind, the beauty who battled insecurity, and the activist who refused to look away from suffering. The voices that shaped her. The project will feature insights from some of the people who knew Taylor best, including her son Chris Wilding, who appears on camera for the first time to discuss his mother's private struggles and her extraordinary willpower. Friends and admirers like Sharon Stone, Joan Collins, and Paris Jackson add additional perspectives, painting a portrait of Taylor that feels both human and heroic. By balancing these testimonials with Kardashian's own reflections, Rebel Superstar bridges generations of fame. It's a dialogue between past and present, a conversation between two women separated by time but bound by the shared experience of public life, personal reinvention, and relentless curiosity about what it means to be seen. From glamour to activism. One of the documentary's most compelling threads is Taylor's transformation from global movie star to fearless activist. In the 1980s, when AIDS was still heavily stigmatized, Taylor became one of the first major public figures to speak out about the epidemic. Her advocacy helped raise millions for research and treatment at a time when few dared to associate their names with the cause. Through her work with AMFAR and the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation, she brought humanity to a crisis many chose to ignore. That courage, standing up for the marginalized and sick in a culture of fear, cemented her as more than an actress. She became a symbol of compassion, a star who used her fame for something far greater than herself. The documentary promises to highlight this era as the defining act of her life, positioning Taylor not just as a star of her time, but as a woman whose empathy and conviction still resonate today. Why Kim's involvement matters. Some critics have questioned whether Kim Kardashian is the right person to produce such a film. After all, she's often been dismissed as a symbol of superficial modern fame, the very kind of celebrity Taylor helped pioneer. Yet that's precisely what makes her involvement so fascinating. Kardashian understands the language of fame like few others alive today. She's lived through scandal, adoration, criticism, and reinvention, all in public view. Her career, much like Taylor's, has been defined by contradictions, a blend of artifice and authenticity, marketing and vulnerability, ambition and empathy. By bringing her perspective to rebel superstar, Kardashian isn't trying to claim Taylor's legacy, she's reflecting on it. She's exploring how the machinery of fame has evolved from Hollywood studios to social media, and what it still costs women to exist within it. In that sense, her involvement may lend the project a uniquely modern insight. How much has really changed in the way society treats powerful women? The feminist reframing. While some may bristle at calling Taylor a feminist, rebel superstar argues otherwise, not in slogans or theory, but through action. Elizabeth Taylor lived her life on her own terms. She divorced when divorce was scandalous. She loved fiercely and unapologetically. She made her own money, defended her friends, and spoke truth to power even when it endangered her reputation. Kardashian, for all her controversies, has walked a similar path of reclaiming agency. She's turned objectification into empire, criticism into control, and spectacle into strategy. In producing this documentary, she's not only celebrating Taylor but also joining her in a quiet sisterhood of women who refused to be defined by the narratives others imposed upon them. The legacy lives on. In the end, Elizabeth Taylor, rebel superstar, isn't just about one woman, it's about the evolution of fame itself. It traces the lineage from old Hollywood glamour to modern influencer culture, asking us to consider what endures and what fades. Elizabeth Taylor shattered ceilings in her time. She made it possible for women to own their power, their image, and their voice. Decades later, Kim Kardashian stands on that foundation, reshaping those same ideas for a new generation. If Rebel Superstar succeeds, it will do more than revive Taylor's legend, it will remind viewers that true stardom isn't about perfection, but perseverance. It's about facing the spotlight not just to be seen, but to illuminate something real. A full circle moment. For Kim Kardashian, this documentary marks a deeply personal milestone. From idolizing Elizabeth Taylor as a young woman to interviewing her shortly before her death, and now producing a series that cements her legacy, it's a full circle journey. For audiences, it's a chance to rediscover a woman who embodied glamour and grit, who turned pain into purpose, and who never stopped daring to be herself. Elizabeth Taylor, Rebel Superstar, isn't just a tribute, it's a love letter. From one icon to another. From a woman who redefined Hollywood to one who redefined celebrity. And together, across time, they remind us that being unapologetically yourself might just be the most rebellious act of all.